the significance of decentralized governance, token offerings, and digital asset transactions? I'm Mike Loader. This is Crypto Corner. Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Corner wherever you are watching, presented by the team at BTC Markets, where each episode we go about detailing crypto market changes and of course the trends that follow. Now let's get into exploring today decentralized governance, these token offerings and digital asset transactions. We will be delving into Australia's history with exchange token offerings, and joining me now to help me explain all of this is Carolyn Bowler, CEO of BTC Markets and founder of BADASL, Joni Pirovich. It's wonderful to have you both in the studio with me. Where do we start today? Because there's a lot of words in there.
There is a lot. There is definitely a lot in that. I think probably the first part of that would be to talk about decentralized autonomous organizations, or DAOs, which are nice and chunky. And Joni, I know that you are probably one of the most experienced people in the world when it comes to the subject matter. There's not very many that have got the depth of experience that you do, particularly in the viewpoint that you have internationally. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. And we probably need a few days at least to get into the nitty-gritty.
Everything, yeah.
But to keep it high level, DAOs are close to my heart because they're a form of online human coordination. As we spend more of our time online and our digital footprints are left everywhere, different subscription products, I might be using things that come out of the US, everywhere in Europe, some from APAC. It's not the usual anymore that I'm interacting with Australian-made products and a bricks and mortar store in Australia that I can get some customer service if I'm having an issue. And the more variety of things that there are around the world and that are available only digitally, the more variety we need to interact and to be incentivized to interact with these people and these communities and these software products that we just want to trust and use to make our lives more efficient or cheaper, better, faster, and same for our business automations and practices. So it's a very high level answer, and there's a very deep technical level to this and a lot of legal and regulatory around it, but at its heart, it's just a new form of organising, not a new organisation.
Very well said. Can I ask you a bit about banking access and of course the hurdles many people see in that space? Tell us what you've sort of witnessed and if you can give us some advice, or perhaps not give us advice.
Yeah, so a good time for me to say I am a lawyer, but I'm not any of your listeners' lawyer. And so anything I say today is general, you can't rely on it. Please seek your own advice.
Correct. Well said.
So with that out of the way, banks are struggling with the crypto economy. And the troubles that they're mainly facing are their customers sending money out of their bank accounts, and these might be individuals or businesses, and investing in various crypto token schemes or different businesses that need you to pay in crypto. Some of those are scams. They're just downright scams, and the banking code of conduct and their terms and conditions are now being reeled out by people who have suffered losses, and so the banks are facing court actions around the world to settle or to go through the court case and prove their innocence, that they were not responsible for stopping you taking $80,000 out of your bank account to invest in this crypto scheme. So there have been some settlements, but on the other side there is the money laundering and terrorism financing laws.
Of course.
So nobody wants crypto to be used to fund these awful things, but blockchains were not built with identity systems in them that trace back to Joni Pirovich or Caroline or anybody. We have unique addresses, but it doesn't give us the identity records so that if we see suspicious transactions or transactions in crypto to addresses we know are bad, there's not a lot that can be done about it if you can't trace it back to the underlying identity. And this is one of the problems that is being solved, digital identities on the blockchain in a privacy preserving way, but we're not there yet. So across banks being responsible for perhaps doing more to stop people investing in the scam side of things, and trying to navigate their own responsibility under these AML/CTF laws, anti-money laundering and terrorism financing. There is a lot of water still to go under the bridge.
And I think too, just with that, there are ways of tracing activity on a blockchain to specific addresses. I know for us as an exchange, we work with a blockchain analytics company called Chainalysis, and we've been with them for, maybe 7 or 8 years now. And with that, we're able to trace where specific crypto goes, like where the life cycle of a Bitcoin, where exactly it goes, every address it hits. And those addresses can be white labeled or blacklisted depending on whether or not they're linked to crime. But to your point, we can't directly say that belongs to Joe Bloggs of, 1 Smith Street in the way that you can with the bank. But I think, though, what we have seen with the banks, and this isn't, I know they get a lot of criticism, but what we have seen with the banks is that the approach in some senses can be a bit of an overreach at times. I think we've all seen and heard experiences of people who have had their bank accounts closed or unable to access the bank accounts for sending very small, innocuous amounts of money to well-known exchanges such as ourselves and others. Obviously, I can only talk about our own experience. But that has a ripple effect on personal finances beyond more than just buying $100 worth of Bitcoin.
Exactly, and one of the most common strategies that I've seen is not to use the same bank account that is connected to your offset and your home loan, because if the worst happens and that bank sees you as a high-risk customer because you've been sending money out to exchanges or withdrawing money out, and you get debanked, then you're not just looking for a new bank account, you're also looking for a refinancing option, which can be inconvenient and expensive and not the kind of pain that you wanted to put yourself through. And you might have been completely innocent, just using the money to do a few trades on an exchange and bringing the money back. And the risk filters are not well developed enough to discriminate, and that's why we're seeing these arbitrary, you can send no more than $10,000 out a month or bring no more than $10,000 back, and you still might get questioned.
And I think too, the industry agitating for regulation, I think, is part of the address towards that, to put in place proper frameworks and regulatory frameworks to give banks a certain degree of comfort as they have with other what are deemed high risk things like gambling or other activities. But I don't want us to just focus on some of those kind of more negative aspects. I do want to talk to you about ICOs and token raising. Australia's had, certainly at the start, quite an exciting time with it, but that seems to have died off in the latter stages of the last couple of years. What's been your experience? I mean, again, your global experience in this subject matter puts you, up there amongst the world's best. Talk to us about your experiences with ICOs and tokens, and where are we now with that?
Yeah, well, there's been an overall bear market. So not just crypto, but macro economy. There's been a need to increase confidence in the economy and a lot of things that need to be sorted out. But the confidence and the green shoots seems to be coming back. And having been through a few cycles now, going into bulls, descending into the bears, a lot of startups do want to time the project right to launch the token as we are going into a market where there is increased confidence or increased desire to learn about the variety of tokens that are available. Now, there are also a lot of people that want to speculate and trade on all of that hype.
Of course.
And we don't have very clear regulatory frameworks, either how the existing laws apply or when the proposed laws might be coming in. And they may not clarify some of these key issues anyway. But the point of getting a token out to market is as an incentive. And yes, the token can be traded on exchanges or just bought on the exchange for the purpose of then using it for its true utility. It can be a trusted marketplace to go to a centralised exchange rather than some of what is still the Wild West out there. And getting the token out means that you can, it might be the membership ticket to participating in the online community around that token. The more you do in the community, the more good things you do, you might be earning that token. And so a DAO or an online community without a token, the equation doesn't work unless there's the symbiosis of the two. If you don't have the incentives for the community and that tracking of who's doing good contributions,
Yeah.
you miss a key metric of what is bringing the community together and what the community feels is valuable to either bring utility, usefulness, which might be lending protocols at a more affordable rate than you can get at the bank, or it can be different ways of sharing information about learning on these automations and how you can adopt them in your life or in your business. They're not just about the token, it's your access to learn more with the benefit of people that have done it before in a trusted way and make your life better, cheaper and faster and fairer.
I can see the passion that you bring to this space sort of coming through as you speak. It's wonderful to see. Can we get a summary, I suppose, of where we're sitting at the moment and I guess what the future holds for 2024? I know we can't look into a crystal ball, but based on the experience that Caroline said you had, can we get a peek behind the curtain of what's to come, just to finish?
Well, there is pent-up demand and desire to get these tokens out to market, and they're being forced into offshore structures to do them. And because it's not so simple to have an Australian company launch a token that can circulate and be bought and sold and traded, as well as have voting rights.
Right.
So these tokens, the way that they are getting out into market is through a series of offshore structures typically. And that's a well-trodden path. It's not just Australian projects that are doing that, it's all around the world. Dubai has recently released some rule books, as have ADGM. There's quite a bit of competition happening over in the UAE with issuance rules, token issuance rules. So you're going to have projects centering around that jurisdiction, but they'll be freely available to the world generally, unless they've prohibited Australian VPNs or Australian IP addresses.
Yeah.
But there's a thirst for these tokens and access to the underlying products, whether it be for personal finance, gaming, any sort of hobby that you might want to do online or learn about. And there's going to be a wave of that innovation coming, as well as how you can protect your privacy and have digital identities and manage your credentials, manage your collectibles. All of that is going to come. My estimate is sort of May, June for it to really start ramping up and for you to start seeing some real excitement around projects being able to finish their products and launch the token around it.
Very well said by you.
We
It's
shall
all the
see.
time. It's all the time we've got, Joni. I want to thank you for joining us on the program and giving us your insights today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. All right, that's the program for now. Hopefully catch you next time here on Crypto Corner. Look forward to speaking to you again soon. Be well.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.